This is ASO TV News at 7. I am Rosemary Ukokotega. The headlines. Deputy Speaker Kalu proposes penalty for government officials negotiating ransom. Minister of Federal Capital Territory warns ground rent defaulters there will be no further extension on payment deadline. FCT Commissioner of Police strengthens civic partnership with strategic visits to local communities. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has again warned that the ongoing enforcement of the payment of ground rent and other statutory fees will end this week with no further extensions. Speaking during an inspection of major projects on the N2 and N5 corridors, Barrister Wike said the administration's aggressive infrastructure push is being funded strictly from the FCT's own budget, insisting that residents must play their part by paying approved charges.
I see the earthwork is ongoing, and the contractor have assured us that God willing, by the end of May next year, which is the first week of June, they will have completed that road, which is very key, connecting central area to Wuse. Here we're in the final stage of the N5, which is being handled by Julius Berger. For those of you who are familiar, we have been here severally when this bridge was ongoing, but today we are on top of the bridge, and we have heard what the Julius Berger said. By January ending next year, they would have also handed over these projects. So we are hopeful. We are very happy with the quality of job done. Well, it's not a question of being quiet, it's a question of making sure that those who apply to run it, it's a contract, and so the procurement is ongoing. And then we also want to see the number of fleets that they have. We believe, by the grace of God, before the end of the year, that would have been rounded up. So it's a matter of getting things done very well the way it's supposed to be, by following due process. Certainly it has to, because I've always said that it's unfortunate that most Nigerians who complain do not want to abide to the rules. You realize that when we started this enforcement, there was a presidential intervention to give them 2-3 weeks more. But it's more than 4 months now, and we cannot carry out these projects without people paying their taxes. So we did also make publications of extending and extending and extending. And of course, they like to rush. If you don't go and enforce it, nobody will go and pay. So we believe that this is the last time. We're not going to extend any further. Of course, you know what has been done. If you have not paid the sale of the premises, because the property then will become the property of the FCT administration.
The chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, Mr. Christopher Zakame Kalangu, has extended humanitarian support to victims of a recent devastating and forceful eviction in Kuchi Bedna community of the Federal Capital Territory. Demonstrating concern for the affected residents, the council donated essential food items and relief materials aimed at cushioning the immediate hardship faced by the displaced families. The items distributed include bags of rice, beans, cartons of noodles, cooking oil, and other essentials. The relief materials were presented on behalf of the AMAC chairman by his senior special assistant on projects, town planner Stephen Jacob Garki, and were received by Honorable Tanko Yamawo, former coordinator of the FCT Satellite Towns Development Department, who accepted them on behalf of the displaced indigenous people. Speaking during the presentation, town planner Stephen Jacob Garki reaffirmed the council's commitment to the welfare of its citizens, particularly the indigent population of AMAC. He noted that the donation was a temporary intervention aimed at addressing the immediate food crisis triggered by the destruction of their ancestral homes and means of livelihood. He said the forced eviction, which rendered many families homeless, is a deeply regrettable event, adding that AMAC, under the leadership of the chairman, is dedicated to ensuring that no indigent or resident suffers unduly. He further urged all stakeholders to adopt peaceful and humane approaches in resolving land-related issues moving forward. In his remarks, Honorable Tanko Yamawo expressed gratitude to the AMAC chairman for the timely intervention and described the gesture as a demonstration of responsive and compassionate leadership. Now, a developing story from the National Assembly says Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Benjamin Kalu, has proposed penalties in the next 6 months for government officials who negotiate ransom payments. The Deputy Speaker made a proposal during Tuesday's special session of the House on National Security, stating that a legislative move to make that happen will help in addressing insecurity in Nigeria. Mr. Kalu decried the rising insecurity in the country and believes the situation needs urgent action from the federal government and security agencies. He also called for better policing, suggesting the speeding up of the process for the creation of state or local police. The session came in the wake of heightened insecurity in the country, especially in the recent weeks where gunmen abducted school children and worshippers in parts of the country. Now, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and Chairman House Committee on Constitution Review, Mr. Benjamin Kalu, has announced that all 36 state governors will receive a detailed briefing on the progress of the National Assembly's constitutional review this week. The Deputy Speaker made the announcement in his opening remarks at the second joint retreat of the Senate and House Committees on Constitutional Review on Monday in Abuja. He said the legislature remains committed to producing a reviewed constitution that genuinely reflects the aspirations and expectations of Nigerians, as he urged speakers of the state houses of assembly to rise to the occasion by ensuring that every amendment passes through.
As we all know, Section 9 of the 1999 Constitution as amended requires that all alteration to the Constitution must be approved by at least 2/3 of the House of Assembly of the Federation. This means that no matter how brilliant, how necessary, or how popular our amendments may be, they will not become law without the support of at least 24 out of 36 states Houses of Assembly.
Deputy Senate President Senator Jibrin Barau, in his remark, praised the renewed commitment of lawmakers as they reconvened to advance work on the amendment bills. He urged members to remain focused as the assignment enters its final phase, expressing confidence that the bills will be forwarded to state legislatures before the end of the year.
The purpose of this meeting is to approve the positions reached previously and to receive reports from the subcommittees constituted to take further legislative actions on some of the bills and the issue of state and local government creation that were referred to these two committees.
Now, Monday's joint committee meeting is another inch closer to the December 2025 deadline by the National Assembly to conclude the review of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives on economic, regulatory, and security implications of cryptocurrency adoption and POS operations in Nigeria has voiced deep concerns over the increasing fraud linked to point-of-sale POS operations and the infiltration of unlicensed crypto-related activities in the sector. Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Mr. Olufemi Bamishile, speaking at resumed investigative session with fintech leaders, POS operators, and representatives of regulatory and security agencies at the National Assembly, said recent engagements with stakeholders exposed profound gaps within the country's fast-growing digital finance ecosystem. The committee, according to him, received multiple reports of unprofiled agents, cloned terminals, anonymous transactions, and weak know-your-customer practices, which he warned are putting Nigerians at serious risk of financial loss, cybercrime, and security breaches. The lawmaker also, among other concerns, queried what he described as a disturbing trend of POS operators venturing into digital asset and cryptocurrency services without regulatory approval, stressing that such activities pose major threats to consumer protection and national security. He, however, assured operators that the engagement was not confrontational, acknowledging that the industry also faces challenges such as fragmented regulation, overlapping mandates by government agencies, policy inconsistencies, and multiple compliance requirements. The national president of the Association of Digital Payment and POS Operators of Nigeria, Mr. Paul Okafor, warned that the POS ecosystem in Nigeria has reached a critical emergency point, with fraud escalating to levels that now pose a direct threat to national security. He outlined 3 key measures the association wants implemented without delay to restore order and rebuild confidence. These are mandatory Nigeria Police Force NCCC cybercrime clearance certificates for all POS operators, mandatory CAC registration for every POS business to ensure traceability, and mandatory membership of recognized trade associations to enforce discipline training and self-regulation. The committee is to continue its interface with regulatory institutions, fintech actors, and security agencies in the coming days before submitting its final recommendations to the House. The Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, CP Meladan Tawaye, on Monday, 24th November 2025, embarked on a strategic community engagement tour of the Durumi Internally Displaced Persons IDP camp and the Mpape community. The visit forms part of the command's continuous efforts to deepen community policing, foster public trust, and enhance collaborative security management across the territory. During the interactive sessions, residents of both locations expressed appreciation for the improved police presence and strengthened operations within their communities. They acknowledged the command's growing responsiveness to security concerns while highlighting areas where continued support is required. According to a statement issued by the command's public relations officer, SP Josephine Ade, the Commissioner of Police, in his address, reiterated the command's unwavering commitment to delivering professional, accountable, and community-centered policing services. SP Ade said he emphasized that effective security is a shared responsibility that thrives on mutual trust, open communication, and active partnership between the police and the public, and urged residents to maintain close collaboration with the police and to provide credible information that can help prevent crime and sustain peace. The police boss further charged the divisional police officers, DPOs of Durumi and Pape, to uphold the confidence reposed in them by the communities, ensure improved service delivery, and maintain the highest standards of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. You're watching ASO Television News. You can watch us live on DSTV 392, StarTimes TV 127, Free TV 507 on the UHF band on channel 38. Now, still to come in the bulletin, Nigeria steps up preparations to host ACI Africa Regional Aviation Conference in 2026. Plus other stories. Stay with us after this time out.
The Nigeria International Air Show is much more than just about aircraft. It's transforming an entire continent's sub-regional security architecture and ecosystem. It's ensuring protection for over 350 million families and 60 million businesses so that Africa can truly rise to new heights and revolutionary ideas can take flight.
The Nigeria International Air Show holds at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja from December 2nd to 4th, 2025. Book your attendance now at www.nigeriaairshow.ng/attendees. For sponsorship and partnership inquiries, call +234-915-557-0049 or send an email to inquiry@nigeriaairshow.ng. Nigeria International Air Show, giving wings to the Pan-African dream.
You're watching the news at 7 on ASO Television. Other stories now. Nigeria's preparations to host the ACI Africa Regional Conference and Exhibition in September 2026 gained momentum on Monday as Aviation and Aerospace Development Minister Festus Keyamo received the Secretary General of ACI Africa, Mr. Ali Tounsi, in Abuja. A statement by the Minister's Special Advisor on Media and Communications, Tunde Moshood, said the ACI Africa delegation, accompanied by top foreign officials, assessed Nigeria's readiness for the major continental aviation event. In his remarks, Mr. Tounsi reaffirmed Nigeria's strategic role in African aviation and expressed strong support for the country to host next year's conference. Minister Keyamo assured the visitors of Nigeria's full commitment, saying the nation has the capacity and infrastructure to deliver a world-class event. On her part, FAN Managing Director Olubunmi Kuku disclosed that preparations are well underway, including partnership talks with a five-star hotel undergoing major upgrades ahead of the conference. The visit marks a key step in strengthening Nigeria's aviation diplomacy and reinforcing its leadership in the region. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, has inaugurated a joint committee with the National Universities Commission, NUC, and Nigerian media to incorporate citizenship studies into university curricula. The committee, inaugurated by NOA Director General Malam Lanre Isa Onilo, will draft a curriculum for consideration and implementation. Isa Onilo emphasized that the Nigerian Identity Project, NIP, aims to restore Nigeria's original foundation, promoting shared responsibility and institutional transformation. The NIP's core component, the National Values Charter, outlines the Nigerian Promise and Citizen Code defining expected values. Isa Onilo stressed that these principles must be instilled in young Nigerians to nurture responsible citizens. NUC's representative, Mrs. Florence Ujuonoha, praised NOA's initiative, citing Federal Executive Council's approval. She assured the committee's effectiveness in nurturing responsible citizens, fostering national unity, and strengthening democratic values. Core members have been urged to imbibe the core values of the National Youth Service Corps NYSC throughout service year and beyond. The Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General Lakunle Nafiu, made the call while addressing the 2025 Batch C Corps members currently undergoing the orientation course in Rivers State. He urged them to be patriotic and allow integrity, efficiency, transparency, commitment, and other good virtues to be their guiding principles. Emphasizing the need for team spirit, the NYSC boss also enjoined them to see themselves as one indivisible family. General Nafiu commended the Corps members for being the clarion call to serve their fatherland and encouraged them to make positive contributions to national development. Earlier, the NYSC River State Coordinator, Mr. Moses Olege, presented a calm situation report to the Director General, saying the 2,586 Corps members undergoing the orientation course had demonstrated high level of discipline, patriotism, and commitment. The 2025 Urobo Cultural Day and Symposium in Abuja took a compelling turn as political leaders from Delta Central called for the revival of Urobo influence in national affairs, stressing the urgent need for unity, self-upliftment, and strategic collaboration among the Urobo people. Speaking with journalists, the senator representing Delta Central Senatorial District, Olorogunede Dafinone, represented by Barrister Adelabu Ejirogene, said the Urobo nation must return to the values that once placed it at the forefront of national leadership in the economy, education, and public service.
His message centered on unity, love, and the upliftment of the Urobo people, warning that internal division was responsible for years of retrogression, urging Urobo sons and daughters in positions of authority to use their offices to uplift their people.
Giving ourselves as sisters, that is, lifting ourselves as a nation. The Urobo people used to be at the forefront as leaders, economic and education. In terms of, like I mentioned there, that the first Nigerian to sign the Nigerian currency was an Urobo man. Is Chief Jabin Obaho. Then you can mention other names like Mariere, Mukoro Mowo.
Culture is very important. It portrays our way of life. It portrays the way of life of the Urobo people, and they are very unique. In their dressing, they are unique. I don't think any other tribe in Nigeria dresses like this in a very royal manner. So it's a unique culture. Their food are unique. If one of our food is one of the very unique food in Nigeria.
Also speaking, the member representing Okwe Sapele Vue Federal Constituency, Barrister Benedict Etanabebe, described the Abuja Urobo Day as a strategic platform for national dialogue and collective advancement. He encouraged more engagement, cohesion, and visibility among Urobo stakeholders, emphasizing that the people must continue to project their capabilities and push for greater representation.
The Urobo practice is sacrosanct, to what God expects, the right thinking of what God expects the human, to think. There are some of these practices you see in some other tribes. You dare not mention it within the Urobo tribe. So the Urobo is unique, and I value it. His dressing is good, relaxed, and very elegant. Like what Prof said, the Urobo man is a peaceful man, even by the nature of his dressing. No man ties wrapper and go for fight. It's only those who can fling up their top wares that can easily be available for things like that. So Urobo portrays peacefulness, very enlightening group of people with strong culture, with strong culture.
It's a feast where all Urobos come together to showcase our tradition who we are, what we do among the nation.
The event, attended by prominent sons and daughters of the Urhobo nation, formed part of wider calls for political repositioning, cultural preservation, and renewed advocacy ahead of the 2027 political cycle.
Nigeria has achieved a landmark trade milestone with the official recognition of the Nigerian National Accreditation System as a signatory to the African Accreditation Cooperation Mutual Recognition Arrangement. The National Quality Council, NQC, under the presidency, celebrating this achievement in Abuja at a high-level event, said this was made possible through strong support under the UK-Nigeria Standards Partnership Program and aligns with opportunities created by the UK-Nigeria Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership. The Council added that this success strengthens Nigeria's integration into global value chains and creates new opportunities for businesses and consumers alike, while reinforcing the UK's commitment to the inclusive trade through initiatives such as the Developing Countries Trading Scheme. Speaking at the event, the UK Director of Trade Policy and Market Access for Africa, Hannah Barbosa, acknowledged that the UK is proud to have supported Nigeria's journey to global accreditation through the UK-Nigeria Standards Partnership Program, and that this achievement opens doors for deeper UK-Nigeria's collaboration across sectors such as healthcare, food safety, and industrial services. This collaboration ensures that NINAS accredited assessments are now accepted across Africa and globally through international laboratory accreditation cooperation and international accreditation forum frameworks, removing technical barriers to trade and unlocking a new market access for Nigerian businesses. The Israeli Embassy in Nigeria has partnered with the Daniel Amokachi Foundation to launch the Maiden Jerry Beth Halevi Cup, a grassroots football tournament aimed at rediscovering Nigeria's street football culture while honoring the country's first foreign national team coach, Israeli tactician Moshe Jerry Beth Halevi. Our correspondent Oluwapelumi Adeyemi will bring us this report in a subsequent bulletin. And before we end the bulletin tonight, here is a reminder that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has again warned that the ongoing enforcement for the payment of ground rent and other statutory fees will end this week with no further extensions. Many thanks for watching the news tonight. I am Rosemary Ukokotega. Good night.